And another point was on the fumble. When Lewis fumbles and Miles Jack picks it up and, probably shouldn't have been called down there and whistled down, but I thought the game was over then too. But the Jags just couldn't make first downs when they had to there in the second half.
No, they couldn't. And then when the kicker makes a 54-yard field goal too, I'm thinking maybe this is Jacksonville's day. There were a few points where I was like, you know what, the Jags, I think, can legitimately pull this off. Not that I ever thought New England was dead by any stretch. And even, that turnover to me, like as bad as that defense was, and when they talk that talk and they consider themselves to be, potentially historically significant, and they say things like, we're the best now and one of the best ever or whatever, then you can't let what happened in the second half happen. Now, at least they did make one big play, which is more than the offense made, but the problem was all that fumble ended up doing was taking about 90 seconds, 80 to 90 seconds off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And after the punt, New England lost about 30 yards of field position from where they had been moving to, or at least from where that previous drive started from. Probably this one started maybe 25 yards deeper. But that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the only ramifications of that. And there was still, upwards of 7 minutes left and still had all their timeouts plus the 2-minute warning. And you knew that that wasn't going to put Brady away. And, they weren't trying to throw the ball downfield at all. They became very predictable. And, they get a lot of credit for being this smash-mouth run team. And there's times where, Fournette does truck people and he's running them over. But a lot of times you look at the end of the game and you're like, what was this, 24 for 77?
Mm-hmm.
That's not against the worst rush defense in the NFL. That's not going to get – it had to be more than that. You look at how much they held the ball in the first half. In the second half, it was just a bunch of 3-and-outs. They weren't running the ball nearly as well on first down, and they didn't want to put it in Bortles' hands, and it just became this sort of snowball.
Now, I don't know where you stand on this, but I think most of us here, we're not conspiracy theorists. We don't think the officials are out to cheat by any stretch. But, of course, the Patriots, they get the benefit of it, right? The only one penalty against them. I think, championship teams often get the benefit of the doubt. But you can't have the ref, I don't think, going up there and patting him on the back or whatever right after the game ends. I'm sure you've seen that little meme or video of the official going up to Brady and kind of shaking his hand or whatever he did right after the game. Does that happen very often? I don't think there's any conspiracy. It's just, it adds fuel to the fire for those that believe in that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I haven't even seen them. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to say meme.
Right.
Is it meme or meme? I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's out of the question for guys for a player to come over and say, "Hey, ref, great game" or whatever. And a little bit vice versa. Look, especially in Gillette Field, things go their way. Things go their way from scoreboard operator. Things go their way from, opposing teams and coaches will say things go New England's way from a headset and a communication standpoint. People will say things go their way from a call standpoint, from the way the officials see the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the empirical. I haven't seen a full study of it. Remember for years after Deflategate, a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, how come they get all these? Oh, look at the fumble numbers, and New England doesn't fumble as much as other people." Well, really, they fumble a lot. They just manage to recover it. The ball just bounces their way. Luck is a part of this game. There's a lot of this what we see out there for 3 hours every Sunday that isn't scripted, that's sort of out of people's hands based on the way a ball bounces off a helmet or bounces off some hands,
mm-hmm.
or who gets there first on the ground. And that just seems to go their way. I don't know that it's a conspiracy. I just think it's part of their greatness. Tom Brady goes to the Super Bowl every other year since he's started.
Right.
This has become a starting quarterback. I'm sorry. I think it's just because they're really that good. It's astonishing. This is 8 Super Bowls in 16 years. What are we talking about?
We'll never see that again.
7 straight championship games.
Yeah.
And, it's bonkers. It's completely bonkers in this era of everything set up to make everybody 7-9 or 9-7. And these guys just continue to do it at just a ridiculous level. I mean, this is the second time they're going for 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, like the second time during this era. I mean, nobody does that once anymore other than that. It's ridiculous. Think of the last time Tom Brady faced the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Like, think of where Donovan McNabb is now. And think of, T.O.'s begging to get in the Hall of Fame. And, like, the Eagles are already on 2 coaches after Andy Reid, right? I mean, that whole Chip Kelly thing, like, all that happened. They chewed him up and spit him out. And now they've got Peterson, and they're back. Like, Peterson was pretty much playing then. I mean, Mike Vrabel, the head coach, was on Brady's team, like, catching downs from Brady. I mean, and the Patriots is just, Belichick and Brady. I mean, think of how much the league has changed in that time span. It's ridiculous.